going on, everybody? I'm DJ Sixsmith. You're watching The Sit Down. Glow Season 3 on Netflix right now. Hanging out with Kimmy Gatewood.
Hey!
How are you? Nice to meet you.
Great. I know it's a very intimidating handshake because I'm a wrestler.
Yes.
I don't know if you knew that.
I do know that.
Oh, yeah, right here.
There you go. So Chris Lowell was here a little while back. Yeah.
He's the best.
He's a good dude. So
Yeah.
I hadn't seen the show, and then he came in, and I was like, all right, I got to get into it. I'm on the first season, so I'm a little behind right now, but I'm digging it.
Okay,
It's a lot of fun. And
You're like my father. He's never seen it either.
Come on, Dad. Are you serious?
Dad!
But this seems like it's been like an awesome roller coaster ride for you. So what have the last couple years been like for you with this?
Well, you know, it's funny. I was about to quit acting right before Glow. Yeah, I was about to quit acting. I'm also a director and a writer-creator, and I just kind of was done with the grind of acting, which I love more than anything. But I was like, you know what? I got to like settle down. I got a kid now. I got to just do it. And so this audition came along that I was for Genji Cohan. It was Glow, which I used to watch when I was a kid, and I could audition with my best friend, Rebecca Johnson.
Right, so you were
Comedy
down
Partners.
for that. Yeah.
And I was like, all right, I'll do this. I'll do this one audition, but I'm never going to get it. So we went in and we were like, wasn't that funny? We just auditioned for that cool show. And then they called us back and we're like, no.
That's insane.
Yeah, it was pretty crazy. And so it just lured me back in. But it's been the greatest experience I've ever had as an actor. The ensemble is incredibly supportive of each other. I've never had this many women in a cast before, and telling specifically women's stories. And we all had to learn how to wrestle. So 4 weeks before the first season, we did 4 weeks of wrestling training with Chavo Guerrero Jr., who's a wrestler, if you're any wrestling fans out there, and Shauna Duggins, our stunt coordinator, and Helena Barrett. And I tell you what will bond any cast. Shoving your face in their armpit for 4 weeks.
You really get to know somebody that way.
And then you're like, catch me! And they do, and you're like, we're bonded.
Well, at least you had that background with Rebecca. Maybe it was a little bit less awkward than you doing some of that stuff. It's like, all right, I've known you for 10 years. If I'm going to get right up in your armpit, at least I know your armpit.
Yeah.
But what has been the wildest part? Because like you watched the Glow, right? You did it back in the day, but like actually doing it is a totally different beast. So what has surprised you the most with everything?
I didn't think I'd be any good at wrestling, and in fact, I'm pretty great at it.
There you go. I like it.
My character is not, unfortunately.
Yeah, that's a bummer, right?
but me, the actor, I've caught on to it really well. I attribute it all to pratfalls and being having a comedy background, just like falling on my face.
Yeah. Whether it's literally, metaphorically falling on your face.
You're just like, you know. So yeah, I'm very surprised that I took to wrestling, if you will. They used to call me, well, they still call me Kimmy one time, because I would look at a move and then be like, oh, like this, you know.
And you just had it. Yeah. You nailed it.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
So maybe I have a career, but probably not.
Probably not.
Be honest.
It works for the show.
Yeah.
So you mentioned Genji and obviously what she did with Orange and how that show cut through. And like you said, you had never worked with this many women on set. So what has been the most fascinating thing for you in terms of an ensemble cast and all the different parts cutting through, and also just having all these women in one place?
What's the most fascinating thing?
What's fascinating to you the most about the whole experience?
That we're much more, I guess, open, like emotionally and also physically. Like we're in a lot of spandex and underwear, or like just like pulling wedgies, and then we're like, oh, this is so uncomfortable. Or just being open with like our body and like what our bodies are going through, because obviously it's a very body conscious show. You're wrestling, but you're also like in spandex all the time, and I had to get real comfortable with that real quick. Where, you know, for years you're like, hide your body, hide yourself Spanx, which I'm wearing. I'll be honest, I'm wearing Spanx today.
It's all good.
But like, we can't all change that fast. But just being proud of like what my body can do, and what it's, you know, it's not just like for looking gorgeous, which I do all the time. No, but that it can be strong, and everybody's body's beautiful is kind of a nice message, I think, that I personally have walked away with. And you know, there's like some nudity on the show. Spoiler, if that gets you into season 3, there's nudity on the show.
I think there's a little bit more to get you to season 3, but no.
But it's more of a celebration rather than a sexualization of the female form, which is really nice. So I had to wear my underwear, and I was like, all right, well, this is me in my underwear.
And you literally go from almost quitting to walking around now in your underwear.
Yeah.
Right? Like that's
wrestling, hanging
everything.
out. Yeah, hanging
wild.
out with like these incredible actors who a lot of them bring their own personal stories to the script. Our creators, Liz and Carly, listen to our thoughts on our characters. And in particular in season 3, there's an episode 6 where Jenny and Melrose, who are played by Jackie Toon and Ellen Wong, brought a lot of their own personal backstory, like from their families, to this episode, and it was very touching. And for me, like, they know me as a comedian, a clown. We play a clown. I'm sure you saw in season 1. I didn't bring any personal stuff to my character, but they made me play a villain kind of this season. So that was
pretty
fun.
Interesting. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
So you've been in and around the business for a long time. Like, it's difficult for a show to cut through, and this is really having a moment, and people are loving this. So when did you sort of sense that this was becoming a bigger thing than just a run-of-the-mill show?
I guess after season 1, when Rebecca and we walked into a meeting, and they're like, "Hey, you're Don and Stacy," and I was like,
like, is this happening right now?
And then after that, like, first, like the positive reviews from the press and like getting nominated for 10 Emmys, I can't believe, like, going from like the brink of quitting to like being on an Emmy-nominated show, female forward, like ensemble cast, and being nominated for SAG Award 2 times in a row. Like, these are the things that when you're a kid and you dream of what you want to be when you grow up, you're like, I want to be an actor. And a big part of that is being accepted by your peers and like the audience loving it too. And I just can't believe that this is the show that brought me like out of like, you know, the walking away forever. So I thank my lucky stars all the time.
So what would you have done if you walked away from acting?
I would have been running a podcast network, and maybe, like, I was doing a lot of digital producing, up top, bro, digital forever. And I was kind of heading towards breaking into directing, which I credit Glow with helping my career kind of take off in that aspect as well.
What have you learned about directing just even the last couple of years?
I think it's been great to be on a show consistently for 3 seasons and know that TV actors are very much, like, they're there every single day and very much in charge and understand, not in charge, that's the wrong word, very much know who their character is and their character's story. And like, really good directors will come in and listen to the actors and listen, and you know, they're usually guests coming in for 1 episode out of 10. So, like, the ones that communicate with the actors are the best ones. And I mean, I've always known that. I've always wanted that from
but to
directors.
see it up close like that, and on like an everyday basis, every week basis too, I'm sure really has an impact. For you.
And also, like, I love a director who is efficient. Mwah.
It's like, all right, we're gonna get the shot, and then we're on to the next thing. Not 18 takes of the same shot. Because the actors like that, and the director's also like, all right, we're gonna go on to the next thing, and it just makes this a really smooth ship.
Yeah, I mean, it is an art, and it is also a job. We have families, so I think
like to get home, right?
I think respecting both the art and the human are the best type of people.
No question
and it's
about
like, I just like, I describe the best directors. I'm like, you're nice, you're organized, and you like spreadsheets. So I'm like, they're like, really sounds like a cool job.
You
an engineer?
Super into spreadsheets is the job for you. All that Excel work you did in middle school, now you get to put it to the test.
Oh yeah, baby.
So you mentioned podcasts before. I listen to Marc Maron all the time.
Yeah.
And it's funny seeing him in the show. So what's it been like working with him?
He's great. He's, you know, we all bonded so much before season 1, and he was the only person we didn't meet. So we're like,
what's this guy's deal? Yeah, what's he really?
And then his, like, the first words out of his mouth were like, oh my God, this is going to be a great show. You know, because I had known him from comedy. I used to watch him. I don't know if you remember Short Attention Span Theater back in the day, and Comedy Central, but I knew him from then, and to work with him has been a treat. And I think he's learned a lot about women, just being around so many women, and he's great. He's exactly who he is, you know?
Awesome. So when you think about your life before Glow, just describe what it was like building out your career and kind of doing all these different things to get to this point. What was most difficult along the way?
I think I graduated from Syracuse University, did theater, and then I came to New York, and I was like, I'm going to be an actor. And then it was like, grind, you know, grind.
Struggle.
Yeah. Waiting in line at open calls for theater auditions, finally getting that first commercial agent, and grinding through those auditions too. And it was when I started performing my own material in comedy. I did UCB, The Pit, Chicago City Limits, are all improv comedy theaters. I started performing my own stuff, and I realized that there's a lot of power in that as a performer, because you don't have to wait around for someone to give you a part.
Right.
So
you just create your own stuff.
That's right. Now, yeah, you're just going up on stage and trying out material and just like auditioning who you are
and
as
just
a performer.
Yeah.
So I did a lot of solo performances, and then I met a comedy group, two women, Sarah Lowe and Rebecca Johnson, who's on Glow with me.
Girl here, yeah.
And we did a group called the Apple Sisters. We started in 2007, and we've been performing together ever since.
Wow.
And that when I met them, it was definitely a game changer for me. It's a 1940s comedy radio trio.
Oh, wow.
And our first big break was at the Montreal Just for Laughs Comedy Festival, where we got our agents and managers, and they're like, come out to LA. And I was like, yeah, I will. But that same year, I met them, and all that great stuff happened at the same time. A documentary I made went to South by Southwest.
Yeah.
That was amazing. And then on the flip side, I finally got to test for my dream job as Saturday Night Live. Spoiler alert, didn't get it. But
still, even doing that was an important step for you.
That's right. And I think that not getting that was very difficult, and it kind of made me question, like, what did I get into this business for? Because that's all I ever wanted.
Right.
And so I had to reevaluate, pick myself up by my bootstraps, and like just lean on comedy again and creating my own stuff. So.
What do you remember from the audition still?
Oh God, every moment.
Because you played it over and over again.
I remember that moment. No. I remember, but there's a few things in your life that you'll never forget.
Yeah.
That moment and my birth of my child.
Those are, SNL, birth of my kid, right on the same line there.
Same importance. No, I was in Andy Samberg's dressing room.
Oh, man.
Steve Higgins, who's now on Fallon, was the producer at the time on Saturday Night Live, and he said, Kimmy, no one is going to laugh. Do not freak out if they don't laugh at all. And I was like, okay, sure. So, yeah, Will Forte came in and said, you auditioning for the show? Good luck, you know. They do your hair and makeup, and I waited around for 3 hours in the dressing room.
Man.
And finally went on stage, did my thing, got a few laughs, was freaked out. I was like, why are you laughing? Stephen Higgins told me we weren't going to laugh. And, did it, put everything on the table, and then left and went to Sarah Lowe's birthday party. It was just like, water, no,
right,
lemonade.
No, of course.
But it was a very, very memorable experience, just because.
Story to tell along the way.
Yeah, I also think it's like, metaphorically, it's like you are, you think that your life is going to go one way, and you never know.
Usually goes a different way.
Yeah, it usually goes a different way, and you could work your whole life for one thing, and then when you don't get it, it takes the strongest to kind of pick yourself back up.
Absolutely.
And then learn how to wrestle.
Well, and literally learn how to wrestle. And then, Kimmy, finally for you, when you think about this show, the way that streaming is right now, what do you think has made this so great, and why do you think that it will continue to stand the test of time?
I think the awesome thing about Glow being on Netflix and streaming is that you can play with the pace that you tell stories, because you can watch one episode right into the next. Right. You can take your time with stories or accelerate them as much as you want. So because you have the safety net of not having to wait until like 3 episodes in, you're not getting the ratings, and you have to switch your whole story to tell something else, which is usually how network or cable has worked for many years. So to know that you have the safety, and I'm going to tell these 10 episodes, like this story in 10 episodes, you can play the story how you want, and the story is what it is. So I think that is why our show has been successful, because it's a crazy, bizarre topic.
It most certainly is.
And it tells a diverse group of women's stories who usually aren't represented on television, and has given the opportunity to really delve into some of the tougher subjects. And I think that I hope that the world continues to support the show.
No question about it. Kimmy, great meeting you.
Thank you.
Thanks so much. Kimmy's awesome, the show. Check it out. Netflix Season 3, Glow. That's Kimmy. I'm DJ. See you next time here on The Sit Down.